Hello everybody, my name is Jonathan and I'm an instructor here at Treehouse, coming to you from Portland, Oregon. In this live stream, we're going to cover Laravel Valet, and in the last live stream we talked about PHP Artisan Serve, more or less getting started with Laravel. And so let's talk a little bit about the differences between PHP Artisan Serve and Laravel Valet. So let's go to a project here. So with PHP Artisan Serve, you have to make sure that you remember to actually execute that command. And I have multiple projects open, so I'm going to be on port 8001. And if you reload this, you'll see a project spins up locally. And that's what we covered last time. And we saw the default welcome view for the Laravel project. So let's say you forgot to enter that command and you're not running that PHP Artisan Serve anymore, and you check out your project and you'll get this screen. With Laravel Valet, it's a little bit different. You just enter the name of the folder and then .test in the browser, and this is what you get. You don't have to do PHP Artisan Serve. In fact, you can see that I'm not running PHP Artisan Serve. Okay, let's check out this app. Last time we also checked out, we sort of previewed this app and there were some errors. I had, the database was gone, so I had to create another database and add it. So this is what the API looks like. I just wanted to share this with everybody. It's pretty cool. So these are the authors. And right now this API only has 3 authors. Now if we go back, we can click on books, and now we have all of the books and authors. And that's the second project in the PHP with Laravel tech degree, called Build a REST API with Laravel. And the first project is here. Now let's say if we wanted to run, this is a live website by the way, so let's run this with Valet test. And that's, because that's not the correct folder name. Okay, what's happening here? Let's check out the folder name. Okay, so it had the URL in front of it. Cool. So you don't put the HTTP in front like I did. You just want it to say laravel-basics.test. I also want to mention that we have an awesome moderator with us today, Karen, and she's fielding questions. So let her know how you're doing and let me know how you're doing. How is everybody doing today? And do you have Laravel Valet installed? What do you want to learn about Valet? Let me know, or let Karen know, and she'll let me know. And you'll see a little pop-up on the screen that's through Slack where it says Karen, and that's a question that's being fielded for us. All right, so moving forward, let's talk about the difference between Homestead and Valet. So let's go to the Laravel Manual here. Let me take this away so you can see a little bit better. Great. So once you check out the differences, in a nutshell, basically, Homestead uses a virtual machine. It's a little bit more complicated to get started, whereas Valet, it's pretty straightforward. And you don't have to start a virtual machine. And as you just saw, all I did was type in the name of the folder .test. So it's really cool. Every time you spin up a project, you don't have to worry about PHP Artisan Serve. Another thing I'd like to mention, this is the repository for this course or for this live stream. So anything that we talked about today, if you'd like to check out next time, we will drop this link in the chat. Okay, so moving on, how do we install Ballet? I'm gonna have a sip of tea here with my Treehouse cup. Oh, let me show you my Treehouse cup. It's pretty cool. Yeah. How long will this live stream last? So that's our first question. It's usually about 20 minutes. So we, end about 1:20 or so. It's pretty straightforward to get Laravel Valet set up. So yeah, keep the questions coming. How are you doing? Where are you from? Where are you viewing from? Yeah, talk to Karen. She's cool. So what is the next step? Oh, before we actually move on to installing this, I want to talk about Windows. So is Valet for Mac OS only? The answer is sort of. And the reason is, let me turn this back on here. The reason is Windows, you can install it on Windows, and actually I know of somebody that's installed it, but it does look a little bit more complicated. And if you go to the Laravel documentation, it still says that it's not supported for, it only supports Mac OS, but you can do it. So if you do get it set up, and if you are using Windows and Valet, let me know. I'd like to know how you did it and how it's working out, and if it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so now that we've covered Windows and Valet, let's get started installing Valet. The first step, I'm going to go to the repo. It makes it a little bit easier for me. I'm just going to go down here to the steps. So you have to install Homebrew. And if you have Homebrew installed, then great. We'll get to the steps next. Before we continue, you want to make sure you have Composer installed as well. So let's go back to the instructions, to the documentation. Okay, so once you've installed Homebrew, all you want to do is brew update to make sure you're using the latest version. And if you have, you want to install PHP. And if you don't have that, install Homebrew, and all you have to enter is brew install PHP. Next, install Composer and install it globally. So you're going to use this command, Composer global require Laravel/Valet. And you do want to make sure that you have this path in your paths directory. So let's talk a little bit about that. Here is the code for that. So if you wanted to open this in Visual Studio Code, you would type code space /etc/paths and just make sure that you have this path in there. Okay. Moving back to the docs. After you do that, you're going to want to park Valet. And so when I showed you my web dev alias, this is where I put my Laravel project. So I parked it in this directory. So park it in whatever directory you'd like, your preferred working directory, and then run that command. And then we're going to run a test to see if it's installed, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we're just going to ping anything at .test. And if you get 127.0.0.1 and you get pings coming to you like that, then perfect. Then you're good to go. You've tested your installation. And here's a couple cool things that, they're bonuses, and I also included this in the GitHub repo, which is if you don't want to use .test, you can change it to something else like .app. And it's pretty straightforward. This is the command that you would use to do that. And we also talked a little bit last week about MySQL and installing that with Homebrew. So if you don't use a local development or like a one-click development solution like MAMP or XAMPP, you can install MySQL using Homebrew, and this is the command. Also, for PHP versions, you can select whatever version you like using PHP at version, or just Valet use PHP. And if you run into any troubles, you can actually reset your installation here with Composer global update followed by Laravel Valet install, and this will reset everything. So that's pretty much it. So let's talk about some of the cool things that you can do. So before I move forward, does anybody have any questions? Okay, so we have another question. So let me turn this camera back on. Cool, this is a great question. What are some of the example projects that you could make with Laravel? Awesome question, and I'm always happy to talk about this. So the first example project and this is being served through Laravel Valet, is this app. Basically, it's a clone of the Treehouse course library. And this was made in the Laravel Basics course, and this is the app. And so it does, the only page that has apps or like, any database is the library. We didn't add anything to the tracks, community, or support, but Laravel Basics does go into routing. So that's what this was for. Next, we have Laravel Rest API. The course is called Build a Rest API with Laravel. And basically what we do is we set up a REST API without a UI. So this is optional. You don't need this screen to click on authors or books. You would do that through an API. And we could use Postman to do that. Or you can use Visual Studio Code and use something called REST Client by Huachao Mao, which is awesome. And it makes Postman look like, not as attractive because it's a lot more steps. And I just really like REST Client. And in the next live stream, we're going to go over all of the extensions that I use for PHP development with Laravel. And that's one of them. And we do have some more projects that we could talk about. Let me see what I have in here. Let's try this. Maybe that's not the right project. Well, I don't have this one queued up. I just tried to improvise and show you a pet adoption website made with Laravel, which is the project that you would complete after Build a REST API with Laravel. Laravel Basics. You would build that after Laravel Basics. Cool. So this is pretty, installing Laravel Valet is pretty straightforward. So there's not a lot more to cover. So let me know if there's anything that you want me to cover outside of Visual Studio Code extensions for next live stream. Do you have any other questions? How about, do you use Laravel Valet already? Or do you use Homebrew? And do you like it? So ask some questions. I'm going to sip on some tea. All right, so I think I've covered everything in this live stream. It's a little shorter than I'd like, but there's just not a lot to do with Laravel Valet. And that's a good thing because a lot of the times when we want to set things up, it takes a while. Oh, got a question. Oh, no, that's a team member. Never mind. Do you have any questions? Let me know. If the live stream is over and you still want to get in touch, you can always reach me at _Jonathan_codes on Twitter. We have another question. This is a great question. Awesome. Am I going to be able to follow the project using Homestead? And the answer is yes, because you're just going to be serving the application. So Valet, Homestead, they're just ways of serving the application. So that doesn't really interfere. Not that I can see. So definitely. So if you're using Homestead, the person that asked that question, do you like Homestead? Are you interested in Laravel because you don't like Homestead? What's your interest in Laravel? I think we have one more question coming up. When is your next live stream? I think, you know what? I'm not sure, but it's usually at 3 Fridays a month at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but I will find out and let you know. But the way to find this actually is to check out the Team Treehouse website. It's teamtreehouse.com, and join, or you can actually subscribe to notifications. Oh, Friday, April 24th is the next live stream. Awesome. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. Yeah, and if you want to get signed up, maybe Karen can drop the link for the join.teamtreehouse.com slash, I think it's treehouse-live. And that's where you could sign up for notifications. And actually, a cool feature that they have is you can add your Google Calendar to, you can just add it to your Google Calendar and just give you a notification so it reminds you when the next live stream is going to happen. All right, so I think that's all the questions, and luckily we're done with Laravel Valet, so that's a win for everybody. Whenever development time is short, that's awesome. So I hope everyone's safe and doing well. It was really a good time. I always enjoy live streaming because I've been in my house for a long time, so this is like my version of socializing, which I really enjoy, and I love code and I love talking to other coders, and so stay safe, and as always, happy coding.